trying to act natural, but she sees right through me. Don't know what to do with my face.
All right, just come to the office later.
Oh, yeah, because that's not going to look suspicious, is it?
But Carla's got some drawers that keep jamming. You can look at those. Look, she's in Blackburn on a meeting all morning. It'll be fine, OK? Hiya, darling.
Oh, she only calls me that when she's done something wrong.
No, Maria's the same. In fact, when she's mad at me, she calls me Gary. Right, got a job to price up. I'll see you in a bit.
Okie-doke, don't forget Carla's drawers.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
Hello and welcome to episode 411 of The Talk of the Street, an unofficial Coronation Street catch-up podcast that enjoyed Summer's Nietzsche-esque declaration that God was dead in prison, but struggles to reconcile that with Debbie and Lou's crafty adventures. I'm Gavin.
And I'm still exhausted.
Were you exhausted before?
Yes. So remember last week I was exhausted because of the graduation and...
Was that just last week?
Well, no. Because remember when graduation and open house, we didn't do a podcast. But then I was still exhausted from all of that when we did our podcast on Friday, which was a week after graduation. And now I'm still exhausted because we walked around Stelly's campus all day yesterday.
It was a busy old day.
It was a busy old day.
A beautiful campus.
Yes. A beautiful campus in West Michigan.
A beautiful campus on a beautiful day when most of the year it'll be covered in snow.
Yes. Yeah.
But for the 3 days where it's nice,
Yeah.
a beautiful campus.
A beautiful campus.
Beautiful.
Yes, yes.
Made me wish that I went to university.
You still can.
You keep on saying this, I can't.
You can.
Who's paying the mortgage?
You can do both. And also pay for...
Friends of the podcast. Oh, imagine. You know, friends of the podcast do a lot.
They do. They're producing the show right now.
Right.
If only there were like 200 more of them.
If only there were round about 1,000 of them, we'd be absolutely laughing.
Can you imagine having to recite 1,000 names every week? Be careful what you ask for.
It's already a struggle at the between 50 and 60 mark.
This is monkey paw territory right here.
It really is. I think I'd maybe employ someone to do it for me.
Right. Or we'd record it. And then just record like the next name and just tack it on to the end of the recording.
But make sure it's as awkwardly tacked on as possible.
Yes.
Yep. Very good. So how are you apart from being exhausted then?
Yeah. Running my first live auction all by myself.
Well, isn't that
on
exciting?
Sunday.
Do I still have the auction talk? I do.
Say auction talk.
I think you should say it this time.
No, because it's better when you say it.
But is you actually doing auction talk, though?
Aren't I typically the one doing auction
Not
talk?
that kind of auction talk. You're doing
Don't expect me to do
sold.
Yeah, but I won't be doing... I'll be a bit slower than that and a bit more companionable and charming like I am on the podcast.
Christ help us.
Maybe a little less yawning.
Don't write checks that you can't cash, my dear. So long as you breathe through your nose in the microphone, that's the main thing.
Yes, absolutely. So that'll be
exciting.
That'll be fun. Yep, I'm looking forward to that.
Is that something that listeners can join in on?
Of course.
Explain how.
Well, they can go to eastlansingauction.highbid.com at 3 p.m. on Sunday afternoon. That's 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
8 o'clock in the UK.
And they'll hear my dulcet voice doing bids, calling bids for physical media, DVDs, cassettes, vinyl, an 8-track or two, as well as trading cards and posters and art.
Do you ship internationally?
Yes.
How do you spell hybrid?
It's HIBID.
There you go. Shall we preamble, my dear?
Yes, please.
Give us some of that shameless plug. Corrie News. I'm fine.
Former Corrie star Dominic Holmes, who played Daniel's previous head, will be starring as a drag queen, or is starring as drag queen regime in the Channel 4 show Tiptoe.
I've been hearing an awful lot about Tiptoe.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Apparently he's quite good. He's like teacher by day and drag queen by night.
Don't get
So,
them mixed up.
No. Well, I mean, there are drag queen story times, and they would be fine. In other Daniel news, Rob Mallard has sadly split from boyfriend of 4 years, Matthew Martin. So, sad news for Rob Mallard. So this is the guy that I think this is the guy he dated after he was dating Daniel Brocklebank, which must have been confusing. I will talk about the confusingness of people's actual names and character names later during Spoiler Alert for people who pay for Spoiler Alert. I will be complaining about Nick and Ben.
This happens most weeks, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
With the J names.
Yeah. Well, this is slightly different when you're talking about a character talking to another character, and that other character has the name of the actor played by the other character.
Oh, I can see where this is going.
Yes. Yes. So that'll be fun, but only if you pay me. And finally, Rosie Fleischman will join the cast of The Cobbles, following in the footsteps of her brother Richard, who played Craig Harris. You remember Craig Harris,
I
the
do.
goth boyfriend?
I do. I very much enjoyed Craig Harris.
Yes.
It was the Harris that it was okay to like.
Yes. Mom, Sue Jenkins, who played Gloria Todd.
Yep.
And Dad, David Fleischman, who played Charlie Eindo. So, Coronation Street, a family affair. Spread
Love-
out amongst decades for this family.
Talk about generational trauma.
Yes. On a very small island.
Very good.
Yes, and that's Corrie News.
That's Corrie News. It was brief. It was focused.
It's always 3 articles, so
Yeah, but we got through it quickly. That's what I mean.
right, yes, because you don't like to comment on people's love lives ending.
I don't feel like there's very much more that can be added to it.
Yeah.
But what can be added to is our feedback section that I like to call Everyone's a Critic. Cheeky writes a few times. Cheeky writes, sorry Helen, but the Gem and the Holograms reboot that you're asking for already happened, and it was a massive failure.
Oh no! Say it isn't so, Cheeky.
I don't know why you're not an actor.
Who says I'm not?
Oh, I know you're not. Then Lindsay writes, we did get Gem in the UK.
Yeah.
We used to wind my sister, Gem, up something rotten singing the theme tune at her, and indeed still occasionally wind her up by singing that she is truly outrageous and Gem is her name, no one else is the same. It wasn't good, but having only 4 and later 5 channels, you watched what you could. I love the podcast. You two are brilliant. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah. Wish you could say the same for Corrie at the moment. P.S. I'm also listening to some new bands such as Plum Vision due to your recommendations. We love the Plum Vision.
We do love the Plum Vision.
Also Housewife. Also
Big Girl's Blouse.
Big Girl's Blouse.
We love the Big Girl's Blouse.
And Wilderness.
Oh, yes. Wilderness is very good.
Then Cheeky writes again. Helen, I greatly need you to stop being Nostradamus. Gem and the Holograms is coming back as a live-action reboot. Well, that took a turn.
It did take a turn. So, are these people saying that the original cartoon wasn't good? Because I loved it. And I thought it was good. And I enjoyed it very much.
I'm just surprised that there was TV on in the UK that I have no idea about.
Well, it was for girls, so.
Oh, was it? Yeah, I was
Gem's a girl. It's a girl band, and their rivals are also girls.
Yeah, I
Her
was
boyfriend had purple hair.
probably too much of a manly man.
Right. Letting your grandma scrub your ass in front of the TV.
That's right. At 4 years old, I was a manly man. Just watching football and talking about beer.
And smoking stoogies.
Actually, probably wasn't much on from 4 when I started doing that. Then Jen writes, so it's Todd, Gary, Sarah and Christina maybe who are all involved in Theo's murder. Defo. Or maybe not Gary, but he has helped clear the scene due to his experience in murder. I wish it was clearer. I feel like it's a more complicated picture.
I don't even care.
That's great. Excellent news. Then Dead Dear Dave writes, like you, I have enjoyed Daniel's tribulations and his many, many opportunities for partaking in his favourite pastime, shouting at women. I've been watching the show a long time, and I can confidently say that Sam's imagination, Roy and Will is the stupidest thing that they've ever done. I may have a controversial opinion about this in a little bit then. Where does it end? Sam hurting Will and saying, Roy told me to do it? Although, if he only hurts imagination, well, I guess it really doesn't matter. What also makes me groan is a new character who is, yet again, a wrong one. No, I'm not enjoying Idris at all. That said, I'm still enjoying Chaos Agent 001, Jodie, and her random ways. Am I the only one who hoped that Bernie's cut-out face might have slipped into Harper's memory box? Oh, that would have been perfect.
It would have. Also, Dead Dear Dave, thank you for the article on Belfast you sent me on Blue Sky. I'm assuming it's the same dead deer.
I don't think we're inundated with
Dead deers?
posthumous does. No.
Or bucks.
Or bucks. Probably a buck.
Yeah, his name is Dave,
Yeah.
so. But we can't assume.
Then Jiggy writes again, I wanted to reach out and share how much I'm enjoying the current direction of Coronation Street. The psychosis storyline is truly one of the most unique pieces of writing I've seen from the show in a while. I find it particularly compelling that Sam is going through so much internally while those around him remain unaware because no one is actively checking in on him. Additionally, the plot involving Megan getting in contact with Will was handled so well that it still makes my skin crawl. Another major highlight for me is Gary's storyline. The portrayal of his PTSD and constant sense of unease is excellent, and I suspect his trajectory might eventually lead back to Sarah. Time will tell, but I'm extremely excited to see where this goes. This feels like the foundation of what made the show great, and I really hope to see this quality of storytelling continue. Well, it's nice to be positive.
Somebody has to be.
Well, there's plenty of that I agree with. Again, perhaps controversially, but we'll get into that later. Thank you to Cheeky, to Dead Dear Dave, to Jen, to Cheeky, to Lindsay and to Cheeky for their correspondence this week. We very much appreciate it. Feedback is always welcome. Send us your thoughts and I'll probably read them out. Get us at the talk of the street at gmail.com, or our DMs are open at Corrie Podcast. I would love it when people write actual letters to us. Send us your proper mail to the talk of the street, PO Box 12, Ian Rapids, Michigan 48827. Please note that we reserve the right to edit feedback, but only in the interests of brevity. And now let's podcast for coffee.
Woohoo!
Thank you to Dead Dear Dave for our coffees this week.
Yes, thank you. Wow, he's just been doing so much for us this week.
So much good work.
So much good work.
We do appreciate it.
Yes.
He writes, thank you for all you do each and every week, and I felt I should celebrate the stupidest thing Corrie has ever done, trademark, aka Imagination Roy, in a more tangible way, so enjoy your coffees. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, David. We very much appreciate it. I kind of disagree with you on the stupidest thing. Sadly, no refunds.
I honestly, as much as I hate Evil Roy, the floating gun was dumber.
I think I would have agreed more before this week. I think there was an aspect of that storyline that I thought worked really, really well. But you're going to have to listen to find out what that was. Thanks again, David. The Talk of the Street is and will always be free on your podcast provider and on the YouTubes. But if you think a show is worth anything more than the time it takes to listen to it, and if you want to show your appreciation, or if you want more weekly and monthly content, check out the links in this episode description, or head on over to corriepodcast.com, click on Support the Pod, and then Friend of the Podcast. For $2 a month, you get access to our weekly spoiler show, the Talk of the Street Spoiler Alert, and our monthly classic Corrie show, the Talk of the Street Classics. For April, we're talking about episode 475 from at some point in 1965, I think.
Corrie goes down the mines.
And if that wasn't enough, you also get access to our Discord server. A shout out at the end of every podcast, your name on the credits on the flagship show. If you prefer something a little less formal, You can also buy us next week's coffee by clicking Buy Us a Coffee. And remember, you can always support the podcast for free and get us in front of new listeners by liking, subscribing, rating and reviewing wherever you get your podcasts. All right, shall we dive in, my dear?
Yes, please.
Oh, the enthusiasm is just pouring out of you.
I'm very tired.
Our first
I won't be,
storyline.
but then again, I won't be the one editing a podcast until 3:00 in the morning.
Correct.
So
Our
I should
first.
shut up and stop complaining.
There you go. Our first storyline this week is Theo No Pulse on Sunday, because there was a Sunday episode again, and I do like this. I love the Sunday episodes.
I hate the Sunday episodes. Like, I want my weekend to be my weekend.
It feels something a little special, I think. There's no Sunday episode this week, though. On Sunday, Kit is sniffing around Gary's skip.
But not like that.
That's what I've got written down here, just in case we forgot to say, but not like that.
Like I would ever do that.
Gary asks what he's up to, and he eventually reveals that Todd's phone was found in it. Gary isn't surprised because when people see a skip, they fill it as soon as someone's back is turned.
This is true.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Kit ponders aloud how amusing it is that Gary's CCTV would be useful twice here, but unfortunately it's been wiped thanks to his and Maria's bunk up putting pay to all that. Then Maria comes along and wonders what that was all about, and Gary's pretty surly about the whole thing. Maria just wanted to know that Gary had taken the lasagna out of the freezer. I said I would, didn't I? Said Gary.
That doesn't mean anything, Gary.
Kit is on the phone to presumably Swain back at his flat as he recovers his forgotten laptop, and he tells Swain that he's sure Gary is hiding something and he's determined to find out what. Unbeknownst to him though, Sarah's still in the flat and has overheard this and immediately calls Gary to meet him back at the rose gold flat that isn't quite as rose gold anymore.
I didn't notice.
I think they painted it or something. I think there's still aspects of rose gold in it, but it looked like the walls were a different colour.
Were they white?
A bit lighter.
Ish. Yeah.
Once there, Gary's calm and insists that Kit can't find anything because there's nothing to find. Sarah hugs him because Sarah hugs everyone at the moment, and then quickly has to hide because Maria comes home. Ruh-roh. Gary panics, claiming that he's in a state because he forgot to put the lasagna out after all, so he quickly ushers Maria out to the pub for a fancy dinner. Meanwhile, during all this, and as he's leaving...
he tells Sarah to put the lasagna back in the freezer.
Yep.
Which is hilarious.
Refreezing something that is previously thawed.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
That's not great.
But it's Gary. He doesn't know that.
Meanwhile, during all this, Todd has been called to the hospital because Summer has turned off her pump.
But not like that.
What kind of pump? An insulin
pump, yes.
And has had a diabetic episode simply because she can't cope in prison. So Todd's in a rage as he gets to the pub to accuse Kit of putting her in this position when no one thinks that she could have had anything to do with Theo's death. Gary hurries out, claiming to need fresh air, and he's met there by Maria, who is still worried that he's not telling her something. He sends her back in to order a hot pot, and then Sarah comes out, and Gary admits that he's struggling about Summer and doesn't know if he can keep this up, but not like that. Sarah, of course, gives him a hug. Sarah's just hugging everybody.
She
again.
just loves the hugs. She can have them.
On Monday, Gary's a grumpy puss in the morning and snaps at Liam for playing his video game at breakfast, and we infer from the conversation that Liam must have fucked up his exams. Gary stomps off in a huff, making Maria pull her concerned and confused face, which Gary has been making her do quite a lot recently. Meanwhile, Asha, Nina and Todd are visiting Summer in hospital. Summer is in a mood to be over-dramatic and maudlin as she announces that she's permanently scared and there's no God in prison, and if you listen carefully, you can hear Lou getting excited because it's Crafts Day again. Ty is in Nina's roles and he learns from Roy that Summer is in a poor state mentally, but she'll be getting transferred back to the cells from the hospital soon. He's about to leave when he runs into Carl, who once again makes it pretty clear that he suspects Tyrone has something to do with a car falling on him, and once again Tyrone can't meet his gaze as he barges past him. He exits Nina's rolls and bumps into Gary covered in his pure shirt and coffee. The two of them have a bit of a back and forth about whose fault that was until they see Todd, and they both shut up and apologise and chat about the terrible state of affairs with Summer, and Gary reckons that even though no one thinks that she did it, if the cops can fit someone up, they will. Gulp, says Tyrone. And he goes home and he confesses everything to Fizz. That he was the one what dropped a car on Carl, but it was an accident and he was trying to record Carl fucking with Kev's car. And he saw Summer and Theo that night, but lied about it to keep himself from getting into trouble. And Fizz is fucking furious.
Even though nobody is investigating Carl's injuries.
No.
Because he miraculously got better. Somehow. He was like on death's door. He had a collapsed lung. And now he's just walking around doot-to-doot-to-doot-to-doot. As if like nothing has happened.
Mm-hmm. Were the police ever involved in any of that? Carl was dropped off at the hospital anonymously.
Right.
Then he was repaired.
Which is suspicious.
Yeah, you'd have thought that the police would have had something to do with that.
You'd think that the hospital would have called the police, said, this man was just dropped off in the parking garage next to the hospital with a collapsed lung. We don't know how it happened. We don't know who brought him in.
But far too many things, it seemed, happened that night. Because Sarah got twatted over the head.
Right, yes, and they only have 2 detectives.
And although they didn't really investigate that all that much because there was no witnesses, unless someone saw something that they could tell the cops aren't going to figure that out, and there was no CCTV. And then you got Theo's
comforting?
death.
Isn't that comforting that the police could say, well, we have no evidence, so we can't figure it out, so you're out of luck.
That's just the way it is, isn't it? What can they do? They can't miraculously read someone's mind. And the only person who knows anything about it is Jodie. And I don't know that they're going to suspect Jodie. Although they probably should have at least interviewed everyone in the house. Maybe they did.
Right, and like taking fingerprints off the thing that twatted Sarah.
I'm not sure that they know what twatted Sarah.
Aren't there like broken pieces and the thing like...
No, I think it was
behind
like
her?
a bit of metal, wasn't it? Anyway, they have no leads. They have no clue who done it.
They do not care. So
maybe they could have spent some time on the Carl thing.
Right, which they didn't. Which means that Tyrone has nothing to worry about here and should have been honest about Summer to begin with. Because nobody's going to say, well, why were you walking out there? He was at a wedding reception.
That was
right
local.
There.
Right.
Yeah. He stepped out for some air. That's not suspicious at all.
No, that's if anything else, and what has been proved and what will be proved here, is that it's nothing except useful.
Correct.
So the cops aren't going to look this gift horse in the mouth. Very strange, but I guess it gave us a bit. I guess it gave us a bit of drama.
Plot.
So Fizz is furious, so furious that she calls Tyrone a plonker. Haven't heard anyone being called a plonker in a while. She is most annoyed that because of Tyrone, the cops think that Summer is a liar. She demands that this gets fixed. He claims that he deleted the footage, but Fizz knows that he hasn't got a fucking clue how these things work and finds it in his deleted items. Tyrone meets Carl in the Ginnel, and Carl now reveals that he knows it was Tyrone who dropped a car on him. Tyrone thinks this makes him square after Carl ran him over, but Carl doesn't play like that because he's a bad guy, and he's off to grass up Tyrone to the filth. Well, in that case, I might want to show them this video here. It proves that what I did was an accident, but it looks like what you're doing is suspiciously like attempted murder. Check and mate, Mr. Carl.
Haha.
That does seem to be that then.
Yeah.
Because something happens later on in another storyline that suggests that we're all kind of friends now again.
Yeah.
A little bit.
It blows my mind.
Later, it's a nice night, so Fizz and Tyrone are going to walk to the cop shop so Tyrone can change his statement, and they bump into Gary and decide that it's only polite to tell him what they're about to do, and with the new information, Summer will be off the hook. Isn't that great, says Gary. But as soon as Fizz and Tyrone are out of range, Gary farts himself inside out with nerves. Poor Gary. On Wednesday then, Gary's still a bit of a wreck as he meets Sarah and Nina's roles. These people need to stop meeting in public.
Correct.
She suggests that he comes round to the factory later, which he dismisses as being too suspicious, but then she says that he can take a look at Carla's drawers.
But not like that.
When Kit comes in, Gary makes a speedy exit. Kit wants to know what they were talking about, and Sarah says, it was just Harry, Liam and Jake. What about the other 2 members of One Direction, asks Kit. So, at the factory, Gary fixes Carla's drawers in the office.
But not like that.
As Sarah closes down the blinds.
It's kind of hilarious how often somebody says Carla's drawers
That was a joke of the week, definitely.
during this whole thing. Mm-hmm. And they say it literally. That one person points out how funny it is.
Maria says it. Maria says it
That-
when Sean tells her that that's where Gary was.
Right.
So there's a little misses about it, but
Yeah.
not nearly enough.
No.
What we really need is somebody to say, but not like that.
It's shocking that Sean has never said, but not like that. You'd think if anybody was going to say it.
He had the chance this week.
He did.
He didn't take it.
No.
Yeah, so Sarah closes down the blinds. Gary explains how difficult he's finding all this and doesn't know why he keeps getting involved in this sort of thing. You know exactly why, says Sarah. And I'm kind of done with this vague talking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind
Can
of
we not just say what's going on now?
Please.
In the pub, all the men and folk are talking about who they think is going to win the World Cup.
And not one person says England or Scotland.
For good reason. In comes Ty and Ben asks him who his money is on, and Tyrone thinks that he's talking about Theo's murder. That was quite funny. Well, it's
That
definitely
was.
not Summer, says Tyrone. In comes Todd, and he's super pissed off at Ty, even though Summer's release is definitely going through. He doesn't know why Tyrone would lie. Ty says, look, I was bladdered and I can't remember, but he's not all that convincing. Todd then starts getting laid into Kit for arresting Summer in the first place, knowing that it wasn't her, and so jumping on the first bit of semi-believable counter-evidence that dropped into his lap. Todd leaves without buying anything.
Which was hilarious.
And this leaves Kit and Gary to have a wee chat. Gary thinks that it could quite easily have been an opportunist, someone trying doors, car doors and front doors that got in at number 8 and twatted Sarah over the head, then got into Theo's flat and did the same. Just because Theo had plenty of enemies, doesn't have to be a permanent member of the cast who did it. Meanwhile, in the salon, Maria's cutting Sean's hair.
How angry would everyone be if it was just some random?
Well, that was a twist.
How angry would everyone watching this show be if it was just some random?
It could be that Demo. Wouldn't it be funny if it was Demo, the guy that we saw in one episode without shoes?
Right, yes.
Demo did it.
Who was once a
Oh.
baby on the show? Who was once baby Simon?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Meanwhile, in the salon, Maria's cutting Sean's hair and he tells her about Gary being all in Carla's drawers earlier, and Sarah dropped the blinds, and the two of them were deep in conversation on the street,
Just conversation.
as opposed to
Deep in something else?
sexual intercourse.
Yes.
Yeah. On the street, Kit tells Gary that all roads lead to him. Well, arrest me then, says Gary. Kit says he's careful not to rule out hunches just because there's no evidence, and he knows that Gary was there or thereabout on the night in question. Well, prove it, says Gary, as he walks off.
Boo.
And then we flash back to the night of Theo's murder, and Gary is on the scaffolding with a wrench or something, or a tire iron, or
It looked like a big hammer. Like, what is a big
a
hammer?
mallet.
Like
Suddenly stuck in the pyramid game here.
like they used to use when they were building the railroads.
A sledgehammer?
Yes. It looked like a sledgehammer.
You got hammer, but you didn't get sledgehammer?
No, I'm not a fan of Peter Gabriel.
Or the 1990s cop show of the same name.
Never saw it.
Oh, it was good. It was quirky.
Most things were quirky in the 90s.
Yeah,
To its detriment.
So we flash back to the night of Theo's murder, and Gary's on the scaffolding with whatever in his hand, looking down to Theo's body on the ground. I assume I couldn't really see it because it was very, very dark.
Yeah, there was a lump, a Theo-shaped lump on the ground.
It's obviously not Gary then.
Yeah.
Who the fuck was it? Was it Jodie?
Gary was cleaning it up for somebody, which makes me think it was Sarah.
It couldn't have been Sarah. She was twatted over the head.
Right, exactly. But how would Sarah know all these things about the night of? Which it seems like Sarah knows things.
Because I think Gary's told her
But why would Gary tell her?
to create 4 or 5 weeks worth of drama. Was it Jodie? Because Lord knows
My money's still on not Max, Miles.
everything's going through Jodie. Well, would Gary cover up for Miles because he's young?
No,
I don't think so
probably
either.
not. Would Gary cover for anybody who he hasn't slept with? I don't think Gary would cover for Jody either.
No.
Did Maria kill him? And just doesn't remember?
I guess it's doing its job because it's genuinely confusing. Because we're assuming that it can't be Gary because they've just shown us Gary. But they didn't show the bit where he fell.
Right, but it is the blunt. Maybe it was an accident or not an accident. Maybe Gary was defending himself and hit Theo over the head. Because remember, he's got blunt trauma on his head, which obviously could have happened from the fall. But they're saying that it's not conducive with the fall or whatever.
I think whoever it was defending themselves.
Yes, because Theo was an asshole.
And he was out of his mind with rage that night.
Yes.
But if it's not Gary, and it's not Summer, and it's not Sarah...
Is it Todd?
Todd is looking shifty. And we've kind of forgotten about Christina.
Yeah.
Wasn't George.
Are we sure it's not George?
Oh, George is somebody that Gary actually might cover for.
Yeah. I kind of feel like he might cover for Christina, too. Or might...
Yeah, that little gang.
Yeah.
So, going back to Jen's correspondence from Everyone Was a Critic, she reckons it's Todd, Gary, Sarah, and Christina, maybe. So, I don't think it's Gary.
It can't be Sarah because
Is
she
the
was...
timing maybe different? Could it have been Sarah? Could she got twatted over the head? And they were just telling it in a non-linear fashion?
Like she pushed him off the roof and then went to David's house for some reason. Why was she even there? Do we have an explanation for why Sarah went there in the first place?
Oh, she wasn't there and she didn't turn the light on. Why didn't she turn the light on?
Because it was already light in there.
No. It was the opposite of that.
Was it? Because I could see everything, so it was light enough.
It was dark.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it was Sarah then. Sarah would do it because of Todd.
Would she, though?
Well, this version of Sarah would.
And I'm starting to really not care. I'm just glad Theo's dead.
Well, we've been glad about that for a while.
Yeah. It doesn't really matter to me who killed him, as long as he stays dead. I'm just mad that Carl has recovered from his collapsed lung and is walking around as if nothing happened.
Yeah,
and has no scarring or anything on his face after a car landed on it.
Well, it landed on his chest.
Right, but...
He didn't have any facial injuries. I think he was bleeding a little bit, wasn't he?
You'd think that
But
he
I
would
think he was
have...
bleeding from earlier.
You'd think, like, his nose would have gotten broken or something. Because
I think if a car lands in your nose, it does more than break it.
Right, but I feel like his chest and his nose are probably equidistant. So if, like, a car fell and hit your chest, it would hit your nose as well. Because your nose sticks out from, like, your face. If it fell on his chest, it would fall on his face.
But there's little caverns and nooks and crannies underneath the car. It's not perfectly flat, I don't think.
No, but still. He should have damage to other parts of his body that the car landed on, is my point. And not just a collapsed lung. But he also should not have recovered so quickly from a collapsed lung either.
I think his liver was fucked as well, wasn't it?
I would be shocked if it wasn't.
And he probably had a heart attack, because they like to have a heart attack every now and again.
Yeah, he's got heart issues.
On Friday, Maria finds Gary Nina's rolls and suggests that they get a meal at Speed Dial tonight, making it sound like they don't normally eat out, but not like that. Gary is in, but Sarah is also in the cafe, and Maria notices some looks between the two of them, but only because they make it so fucking obvious.
It's so weird.
Now I do think it was Sarah. And maybe I'm thinking that this explains a little bit more of the detached Sarah that we got last week, that I really, really liked. The fact that she was... And that was when she left. She left the dinner when they were starting to talk about who killed Theo. And everything just got too much for her and she left.
That's true. That's true.
And we thought it was because of her...
Of the trauma from getting twatted in the head.
Just too much talk of violence was enough.
Right.
Oh, fuck, it was Sarah. We thought it wasn't Sarah because of getting twatted in the head, but that's exactly what they want us to think.
I think I'm going to keep my counsel.
Because we don't know how long Theo's body was lying out there.
That's true. But we do know We do know some of it because we do know that he was still alive when Summer left the flat.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. We really don't know when Sarah got hit over the head. I thought it was earlier in the day.
No.
Was Sarah at the wedding? Because if Sarah was at the wedding, then she didn't get twatted over the head until after the wedding. It would be weird if she wasn't at the wedding.
But people can just come and go because it's on the street. And remember, the whole thing about Maria saying that she was pegging Gary as the alibi was to show us that Gary was walking about on the street when he said he was in the builder's yard. So Sarah did it, called Gary to help. And what we saw in that flashback was Gary just picking up the weapon and taking it away, and then looking down to see Theo's body.
Maybe.
Fucking Sarah, man. I need her to get away with it then. Because those leather strips aren't going to wear themselves. So later, David's in when Kit comes in for a coffee, and David checks in on Sarah, which surprises Kit because he says that she's fine. Shona tells Kit that Sarah hasn't been herself lately and a bit snappy and stuff. So back at the flat. And I don't think this is getting the attention that it deserved on the episode, but Sarah managed to brute force her way into Kit's police laptop.
Was she able to kind of guess his password? Because
If that police laptop is secured just with a password, I'm frankly shocked. Do you know how many things I need to put into my laptop to get into it? I've got my password, I've got my PIN, and I've got an authenticator, and I've got my fucking face.
see, I hate that. I hate it so much. It's like, do you want to add a pin? No, I don't want to add a pin. Who's trying to break into my laptop? Nobody.
Right, but your laptop isn't a police laptop.
That's true. Neither is yours, though.
No.
I guess you do work for a financial organization.
Yeah,
so
and your
you have
laptop
to be,
is your laptop.
right. Anyway,
But if Sarah can just brute force guess a password and get into a police computer, there is something far wrong with the security in a police computer. And if it's the same guy that's doing the forensics, frankly, I'm not surprised.
why would he just leave his work laptop lying around?
This
to
is the
begin
second
with?
time he's done it this week. Because he had to nip back because he forgot it. And that's how Sarah knew that they were talking about Gary. Even though they're always talking about Gary.
Right.
They're about to have that same conversation again. So, back to the flat. So it's only the sound of Kit's key in the lock that prevents Sarah from doing God knows what in this police laptop. Like deleting the evidence and stuff. Kit wants to talk about what's really going on with Sarah, but she insists that she's fine and she steers the conversation back to Theo's murder as she asks him who the new leading suspect is. Fuck Tyrone, says Kit, and he goes to make a call to Swain, which Sarah eavesdrops on and learns what she already knew, which is that Gary is suspect number one. Gary is already late meeting Maria when Sarah takes this information to him. What else is new, he says. Keep your boyfriend off my case. Summer gets out, and Todd wastes... So Summer gets out of prison, and Todd wastes no time giving Swain and Kit a mouthful of snash about it. And after this, the coppers agree that Gary is their only lead, and his alibi from Maria is dodgy as fuck, so they drag Maria in for questioning again. And she sticks to the story, but makes it clear to Gary that she knows that he's up to something, and suggests maybe it's best that she doesn't ask any more. And that's as far as we get with that this week. So yeah, I think I'm now thinking everything through the lens of it being Sarah. That Sarah's asking Kit for information we assume about Gary, or so she can feed it back to Gary, and maybe she is on a certain level, but maybe she's also checking to make sure that it's not onto her.
Or maybe they're both covering for Todd. Maybe it was all three of them. Because remember, there is this whole thing with Christina in the car.
Todd's involved. I think Christina's involved.
Yeah.
And she was on the phone to somebody asking for a favour, and we've never found out what that was.
No.
Narratively, it probably is more satisfying if Todd did it.
Is it?
Because somebody else is getting revenge for him on his behalf, if it isn't.
Right. And let's remember, he has complained about the fact that Theo is never going to see justice because he's dead. And I also feel like if it was Todd, he would have stepped up when Summer was thrown into jail.
He did look so very shifty. And maybe he would have if it had gone to trial. And now he doesn't have to. But then he keeps on narking at the cops.
Right, exactly.
And that's probably not a great move.
Not if you're guilty.
Oh well, I think my new favourite suspect is definitely Sarah now. I said this last week, didn't I? I was going to go back and watch that episode. I haven't done that. I'm
No.
definitely going to do that.
Yes.
Alright, our next storyline is Daniel as a Faniel. On Sunday, Daniel is like a hen in a hot girdle as he tidies the flat, explaining to Bertie that a social worker is coming to make sure that the little family is okay. Bertie says, "What if it isn't?" And Daniel visibly shits his unders.
Yes, he does.
It's a good point, Bertie.
Well done, Bertie.
The social worker, though, is lovely and doesn't think that Bertie is in any immediate danger, but she's worried about Daniel and she thinks that he would benefit from some support and governmental interference once every 3 weeks. Afterwards, Daniel goes round to number 8 to confront Jodie, accusing her of grassing him up to the social, which of course she denies, and she was my number one suspect in this. He also drops a bombshell to show her that he knows about Jodie and David. He leaves as his phone rings, and by the time he gets to the pub, he's learned who really grassed him up. He apologises to Adam and Alia, not Rita, notably, and reveals that a teacher at Bessie Street overheard Bertie tell a mate about what happened last week, and unsurprisingly to everyone except Daniel, Bertie was pretty upset about it. "I'm a fucking mess," says Daniel, and no one corrects him.
Right.
"No Scotland, no party," says Adam.
Because there's nothing to correct. Because it's true. And I mean, it makes sense because teachers are supposed to report these things.
Yeah, I think they're morally, ethically, and maybe legally obliged to do
Right,
so.
yes. So it makes sense. It's not as satisfying as if it was Jodie. But still, it makes Daniel look even more like a fanny after he's like shouted at practically everybody on the street accusing them.
Yes, and indirectly, it was Bertie who essentially grassed them up.
Yes. As it should be.
So that's nice.
Yeah. Bertie's just praying that somebody's going to take him out of that house.
He's very well spoken as wee Bertie.
Yes. Well,
More well spoken than either one of his parents were.
he gets it from his granddad.
And he's definitely not going to be picking up any Sinead's vocal quirks.
No.
Not from Beyond the Grave.
No.
Although she did make all those videos. I wonder if he watches all those videos.
Oh my goodness.
I think Daniel does. Maybe that's why he's so fucked up.
Remember he used to watch those videos when Bertie was still just a wee baby.
Mm-hmm.
You know, clutching the cardigan and crying into it.
Yep. Sizing up random blonde women.
He's been a mess for so long.
Such a long time.
Such a long time. I'm glad it's finally caught up to him.
Every time I watch the Chesney getting hit,
With a brick?
or Chesney hitting himself in face with brick,
Yes.
and Daniel's floppy hair at the time, he was a very young man at that point.
Well, yes. He's still a relatively young man. Let's be honest.
But that wasn't yesterday.
No.
I guess his hair's much better now. I will give him that.
I think
He has better hair.
I think everyone's hair is much better now.
I guess that's that done. Daniel's not an alcoholic anymore, and he's probably going to fix himself. So
Well,
good stuff.
He's still an alcoholic.
Our next storyline is Sister from the Same Mister. This is a storyline that was giving me such a hard time to comprehend last week in the spoiler
Right,
alert.
because we were like, and I still feel like
I'm none the
just
wiser.
ask for a new card. Just ask for a new card. I'm sure they've got a stack of them
Millions of
behind
them.
the desk.
Millions of them.
They can just fill it back out, and then you have it for the picture.
So David is late getting to the hospital with stuff for Shona, but he's only gone and forgotten the milestone card, which seems to be incredibly important because Harper is 5 months old now. So yeah, so it's
just a card that says 5 months old. But but it's
is it that?
It's well, yes, it probably has like the milestones for that particular age, and they can check off all of her milestones for that age. But it can't be all that big, so I don't know if anybody would really see it in a picture.
No, when we see it later on, it's something that's fits into
in a
the
pocket.
inside pocket.
So I don't.
So it is like a birthday card or something. I'm still not entirely sure what the point of it is. Does it just have her name on it or something? Is it
Well, again-
because this card is going to be in all the photographs that we take on your special milestones. If
Right,
that's
for
what-
5 months.
For 5 months? How many photographs are they going to be taking for the 5 months?
I would assume one. And
So
then,
that's just one milestone card that says 5 months in it. So you get a pack of cards, one that says 1 month, one that says 2 months, etc. Is
Yeah.
that what you imagine it is?
Yeah, but I don't think it's like every month. But I also can't imagine Harper's ticked many boxes from the 5 month milestones. All things considered. Of course, we have not seen that baby in a long time. We saw the puppet baby with the tumor. The tumor's been removed now, yes?
Yes, some time ago.
But she's still in the hospital, and we have not seen her. Are they just waiting for a baby with a scar to show up? Are they lurking outside hospitals and the pediatric ICU, just waiting for the perfect baby?
See, you confuse me when you start saying things like ticking things off on the 5 month milestone card. So on the 5 month milestone card, you think it's got things like baby can do this, baby can do that.
Right, yeah. Like there's certain things you should be able to do at 5 months, and there would be like check boxes. It's what I'm imagining.
Because the closest I get it in my head is to like Alcoholics Anonymous coins. Is what I'm imagining.
Right, yes, but Harper's not an alcoholic.
Well,
Yet.
the closest that I can reconcile this with is those sort of things.
Yeah,
like you get the thing that says 5 months in it, or you get the thing that says a year
Right,
in it.
yeah, no. And I mean, typically, you go to the pediatrician because typically your baby isn't in the hospital for 5 months. But you go for like a 5 month appointment, and and there's like a list, and the doctor will check it off. And I don't think it's necessarily like this huge momentous thing for all babies. Maybe it's just.
I can see why it's special for Harper,
But I
given
feel-
the
yeah.
circumstances, but
But again, like there's a checkoff list, like when the baby is first born, and it's got a name, and I can't remember what it is. But like they test like reflexes and some other things, and it determines whether or not the baby is okay right out of the box.
I'm sure this is fascinating for the spoiler alert listeners and now the flagship listeners, where
Right.
we back and forth on something that we really have no idea about.
Well,
So
I mean,
I'm going to beg
I have
someone in our listenership to explain this properly to us.
Well, I have an idea about like, because I remember 5 month appointments and checking certain things off that the baby can do and stuff. Oh, trust me, next week we get a different baby tradition that I was really hoping hadn't crossed the ocean to the United Kingdom yet. And it has nothing to do with Harper, but just you wait for...
That was my belly, and it's still going. Can you hear it?
I can. It sounds like a motorcycle going up and down the street.
It's going to move on. That's what it's doing. Let's move on then.
Yes.
So anyway, he was sure that he put it in the bag. Yeah, right, says Shona, as if someone would deliberately take that card out of the bag just to make you look bad. It's an interesting way of putting it.
Interesting way of putting it. And also, is it that big of a deal?
Back home, he accuses Jodie of taking it out of the bag, but she denies it immediately. He's sick of her pish. But then Lily comes in and reveals that she put the card in David's other jacket pocket. Apology accepted, says Jodie.
Or
says
David put it in the wrong jacket pocket because he was originally going to wear one jacket and then decided to wear a different jacket. And Lily says, you put it in your jacket pocket. And he's like, no, it's not in there. And it's like, no, not that jacket, that jacket.
No, I thought Lily actually put it in the jacket. Anyway.
Like Lily would do that.
On Monday, there's a bit of chat in number 8 between Shona and Jodie about how no one is believing Daniel or his accusations the other day when he pointed out that he'd heard Jodie and David were at it. But really the main part of the story today is that David has made a trinket box for Harper to hold her story. Things like her hospital bracelet and other hospital-related shit. Shona is blown away by this and smooches the face off of David in front of Jodie. And the fact that they're giving her now her own trinket box is making me think, as Dead Dear David had pointed out, the trinket box and Jodie's trinket box, this kind of makes them sort of linked.
And also, one may be mistaken for the other. And then Jodie is in deep shit. Because they'll finally find Brian's stupid book.
He will be so pleased.
Which is not some rare edition, as Brian claims.
On Wednesday, Jodie is still going on about Daniel fancying her, but no one's listening. Instead, there's a campaign for David to make homemade pizzas for dinner tonight, as apparently they're better than the bistro. This was the running gag through Wednesday's episode of everyone saying that David's homemade pizzas were better than the bistro, but don't tell Nick.
No.
Jodie...
They're brothers. He should just get David to come in and make the pizza or show his pizza maker how he makes the pizza.
Well, all he seems to do is construct a pizza from pre-made things like pizza bases, and he smears tomato sauce on a pizza base, basically, I think is what he does. Jodie requests some hot honey drizzled all over hers, which I think is meant to be erotic, but it just makes David make a confused face. At the dinner, Sarah has been invited because she was the one who started the rumour that David made really good pizzas, and hilariously, Kit is not invited to this. Anyway, David spends the night winding her up about how shit a copper Kit really is, so that'll be why he wasn't invited then. And that's as far as we get with that.
Stupid card. So much of this storyline is tied up with the stupid card. And then we don't even get to see the baby. And I mean, would the photographer really say, "Oh, well, you don't have the cards, so I'm not going to take a picture of the baby"? That feels wrong. If this photographer made a special trip to the hospital to take a picture of this baby, he's got to take a picture of the baby.
Well, it made it... Oh, you fucking dragged me into talking about this fucking card again. They made it sound like there was many babies that were getting their 5-month thing, but it was a smaller amount because babies are going home.
Right, yeah. Typically, babies aren't in the hospital for 5 months.
Right. Someone on Twitter, I think it was, had pointed out that Jodie has been in more than 70% of the episodes this year.
It's hilarious.
That's pretty impressive. I think I'm still liking her. I'm still liking where this is going, but we need...
But where is it going?
We need some payoff.
We don't know
at
where
some
it's
point.
going. It's the problem. We don't know where this is going.
I haven't watched all of
just-
Emmerdale this week, so I can't tell
it's
if
just
Graham's
chaos.
mentioned her. But yeah, it is chaos.
And that's it. I don't think it's going anywhere.
I assume it will, but I also assume that it won't be anywhere near as much as the build-up has made us believe it will be.
Correct. Because it never is.
Our penultimate storyline tonight is Sucks to be a Webster. On Friday, it's probably best that we don't ask too much about the lead up to this, but there must have been conversations that have happened between Carl and Ronnie. And either way, it's the former who leads Debbie into the bistro where Ronnie, Sally, Glenda and Christina are waiting to announce that Ronnie has booked them all into a fancy villa in Spain. Just the ladies, it's peach party. So Carl and Ronnie seem to be on speaking terms then?
I think it's just when it comes to Debbie. And I don't think they're really on speaking terms. I think Carl was involved in getting Debbie there for the surprise.
Which is Ronnie's surprise.
Right.
But he also tells Debbie that all Ronnie does is love you.
Yeah. Which can be true.
Which was nice. And
Which can be true, but also Carl hates Ronnie. Two things can be true.
yes, I don't know though that Carl would admit that.
I think he would admit it to Debbie because he just wants the best for Debbie. Or claims to want the best for Debbie. When really, he's only out for number one.
So I was thrilled at the sound of this.
Me too. Especially if, we get to see it.
Oh, if we get to see it, that would be like
That would be
manna
heaven.
from heaven. Yep.
Yes. If like the whole week was just the ladies who lunch to Spain, I would die a happy woman.
It would be a tip of the hat to the classic episode of All the Ladies Going to Mallorca, which we'll probably be talking about in the classics this month.
Beautiful, beautiful Majorca. I don't know.
However-
I've never been to Majorca, so I don't know how beautiful it really is.
Is it beautiful?
I would imagine so. I mean, why would you go to vacation someplace ugly?
Because it's hot and it's got nice beaches.
So if it's got nice beaches, it's beautiful. Nice beaches are beautiful.
The country, the inner part of Mallorca, I remember being quite barren. But it's probably... God, when was I last there?
I mean,
I
that's,
don't know how many years ago.
That-
30 years ago.
that's-
35 years ago.
that's typical of places that people go for vacation. Like the vacation bits are really nice and then everything else is barren.
Yeah, it's all hotels and restaurants and the resorts that I went to. But the beaches were nice. And there was... I remember going to something called the Caves of Drac, where we went on a boat and we went into these, well, caves that
And-
had stalagmites and stalactites.
If
And
you
that's
were-
when I learned what those were.
If you're in a boat, are the stalagmites poking out of the water?
Yeah,
Because the stalactites are the ones that come
they
from
hang
the...
down like tights.
Yes.
Mhm. That's how you remember.
Yes.
And I remember it all being lit up
Uh-huh.
very gorgeously
Yeah.
inside it. So I wasn't scared of boats at that point.
Or caves.
I wonder what happened.
What happened to make
Wonder
you
what
afraid
happened
of
later on in that vacation on the pedalo, maybe that,
boats and caves?
or was it the lilo? Was it being stuck literally to a lilo that did it for me?
In a
Who
cave?
knows? No, in the Mediterranean.
Oh. Because you're also afraid of caves.
No, I'm afraid of having a cave crush me to death. That's what I'm afraid of.
Ah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
none of this is happening though.
no.
Because at the bar, Carol can sense that Debbie's not as pleased as she's making out about going to Spain, and she admits that she's scared of being someplace that she doesn't know, and what happens if she goes wandering. Then don't go, says Carol. And then he announces that he might be planning to set down some roots in Weatherfield after all, and Debbie is ecstatic. So she goes back to the table and explains her concern. She says, you know, you guys should definitely go, but I don't want to be babysat. I'm going to spoil it for you, so I ain't going. And there's nothing that you can say that's going to change my mind. And everyone's like, huh, well, that's fucking great.
Everybody's like, boo!
And then the next day, because Friday's a strange episode because
It is a weird
Because it's
episode.
2 episodes and it's on 2 separate days, but it's not entirely clear that that's what's happened. The next day in Nina's Rolls, the ladies what lunch all agree that they're not going to go on vacation without Debbie. No Debbie, no party. No Scotland, no party, says Adam. Am I right?
Yes.
Steve Clark's Tartan Army, says Alia. That's nice of her.
Well, you know, she is shagging at him, so...
Mm-hmm. At home, Debbie explains her concerns to Ronnie a little bit more, how she's scared that she might not be able to do anything spontaneous anymore and worried that her life has been eaten up bit by bit. Ronnie meets up with the ladies what lunch on his own a bit later on and suggests that they might not be able to go to Spain, but how would they feel about doing something a bit spontaneous? And that's how we end that story for this week. So we're going to get maybe we're going to get a ladies what lunch outside broadcast.
Maybe they'll go to the mine.
Wouldn't it be great if they went back to the mine?
Is the mine still open? The mine's still open.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Still
hasn't
good.
changed that much
You can still
as
go
far
down
as I
into
can
the
make out
mines.
from Google Maps.
I was disappointed that Debbie didn't want to go. It feels like
I
this
can
is the
understand
time.
why.
I can understand why, but I can also... It also feels like you'll be there with your friends who love you and want to spend time with you while they still can.
Mm-hmm.
You have this... You're going to have a villa all to yourself, so it's not like you'd get lost in like a hotel or something.
And also, if you want to do this,
Now is the
you
time.
probably need to do this now.
Right.
Because she's right. Her life is getting smaller and smaller, and it's going to continue doing that.
Right.
But right at this moment, it's as big as it's going to get.
Right. So she should go now.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously her friends don't mind keeping an eye on her. That's, you know, that's what friends do.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think this isn't going to transpire now. The Spain thing is off the table, but really, if this is real life,
You'd go.
she should definitely be going.
Yeah. And it feels like, oh, we're going to do this really nice thing for you. No, I don't want to do that. Oh, all right. And that's the end of the story?
Mm-hmm. None of us will do it. But Ronnie's paid for this.
Right. Apparently he's been able to get his money back, which I can believe it for the villa. The airline tickets, though?
No chance.
No.
Not unless he's paid for some... Well, that was a wee yawn from me.
Yeah.
Not unless he's paid for the insurance.
Right.
And maybe Ronnie's the guy that sort of does that kind of thing. Who knows?
Maybe.
I wish they were going. I wish that they were going and we got to see it. That would be perhaps the best episode of Corrie there's been in a long time. Seeing those ladies
Yes.
larking it up big
Please.
time in Spain. It would be tremendous. All right, our final storyline tonight then is Sam's Shite Club. The first rule of Shite Club, Helen?
You don't talk about Shite Club.
That's us done then. Tune in next week.
Yep.
On Sunday at school, Hope learns that Will might bunk off his race meet tomorrow because everything about his routine ahead of a race reminds him of Megan. Hope consoles him with a rub on his arm, and this is seen by Midnight Creeper Sam. When Will gets home, Hope is in the back room of the pub, and she's already told Ben about his want to give up racing. Ben just wants Will to do what makes him happy. But then Ben says, Hope, why don't you tell Will what you told me earlier on? Which was a strange thing for him to
Right,
say.
yeah, it was really weird. It's like all of a sudden, like, Hope is not just the voice of reason. She's like a member of the family.
Mm-hmm. And she's also giving sage advice to
Ben.
adults.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, let's not forget, she was the one who calmed Daniel down in the hallway.
Good job, though, by Ben not taking credit for Hope's idea.
That's true. Which he would have done if Hope wasn't still sitting there.
Right, 100%. Hope's words of wisdom were that if Will doesn't race because of Megan, then she still has the control. Which is decent. And this gives Will food for thought, and he seems to change his mind. He and Hope celebrate this with a milkshake on Ben at Roy's, and this again is spotted by Sam. Evil Roy appears and tells Sam that if he doesn't smite his enemies, then his enemies will smite him. Evil Roy has an idea how to do just that.
Dum dum dum.
On Monday, Evil Roy joins Sam on his walk to school, wondering if Sam has any plans for all that smiting that they were talking about yesterday. Sam has no such plans, and insists that he's not the sort of person to smite anyone anyway. Evil Roy scoffs at this and tells him that if he doesn't smite Will, then he will be smitten himself. Sam says that he can't do it. Well, then our time together has come to an end, you fucking pussy. Sam is upset, says that Roy is his only friend. Was your only friend, says Evil Roy.
What?
And off he fucks. Meanwhile, Will is setting off to school having decided to race today after all. Eva Cakes makes sure that Will has his water bottle and he holds it up so Eva can see it, and so we can see it, and so Midnight Creeper Sam can see it from around the corner. At school, Evil Roy has turned up, but disappointingly, he's not wearing a music band t-shirt or carrying a skateboard or wearing a baseball cap back to front. He feels bad for leaving things the way that he did with Sam, so he decided to take matters into his own hands, or rather, Will's water bottle into his own hands. One sip from that, says Evil Roy, and Will's race will be run, as will his underpants. Because that's what I assumed he was talking about.
That it's got
Initially
like
was-
laxatives in it.
Yeah, that Will was going to shit himself as he was running. But I think he's meaning kill him.
Yes. Death.
Another kid's passed by in the corridor here, and they must wonder what the fuck Sam's doing.
Right, yeah, people are walking by. He's talking to himself. But then again, we live in an age where people walk by you seemingly talking to themselves all the time because they're talking to somebody in their ear.
Yes.
Or you will try to talk to someone and they will not respond because they have something in their ear.
Yes.
This happens all the time in this house.
I would say on a thrice weekly basis at least.
On a thrice daily basis, I would say.
Yeah, I tend to have my earbuds in.
Fanny.
I'm just listening to my music without bothering anybody else. So when Sam sees Will about to board the bus and about to take a sip from his water bottle, Sam fucking leaps at Will and knocks the bottle out of his hand, claiming that he saw a wasp climb into it.
Yeah, apparently a wasp can climb into, like, the little teeny tiny hole at the top of your water bottle.
That Sam can see from a distance. From
Yes.
a distance.
Aw, Gav is singing Bette Midler songs.
He quickly
From-
apologises and takes the bottle to refill it while Will wonders what the fuck that was all about.
Not the bees!
I'm covered in bees!
Not the bees!
Later, in the bistro office, Evil Roy is super pissed at Sam's intervention because Will won that stupid race. Find that hard to believe. Sam thinks maybe he can talk to Will instead, and Evil Roy thinks that this is all Sam is good for, inane babble that signifies nothing. Your fate is sealed, says Evil Roy, and you fucking deserve it. Your thoughts on Evil Roy at this point?
You know, when Evil Roy first showed up, I didn't mind him quite so much. But the further in we get, and we haven't yet gotten to the quoting Macbeth part of the psychosis yet. We're getting there.
Which is my favourite bit.
We're getting there. But it's gotten to a point now where it just feels ridiculous.
Here's
and
what-
I'm tired of it. And I'm tired of them going to shots showing that Sam is not talking to anybody.
Yeah, I've
That's-
had my fill of that. I'll give you that. Here's why it works for me.
And nobody noticing that Sam is, like, shouting at somebody who's not there.
What works about it so well for me is, and I think I've seen a similar opinion, but I entirely agree with it, that the difference between Evil Roy and non-Evil Roy is night and day.
Yes.
But the difference in performance from David Nielsen is like 1%. He's just playing it slightly differently.
Well,
But the
in
way
the
that
beginning,
he's
yes.
slightly doing it is having a remarkable effect on it.
Yeah, in the beginning it was slightly differently. But the more this goes on, the more cuckoo bananas Evil Roy is. And it gets to the point where you're like, oh, come on, Sam.
But maybe the increasing cuckoo bananas, to give it its medical name, maybe that's in keeping. I'm not sure. But anyway, at this point, I'm still enjoying it. On Wednesday, Will has got a text from Lee to meet up outside Freshco, but when Will gets there, there's no sign of Lee, who we learn has denied any wrongdoings with Megan, and instead it's Megan that's there. It turns out that Will didn't call her on her new number after all, contrary to how much it looked like that at the time. He says that he can't be seen like this and he walks away from her. She chases after him, begging him to change his statement. She doesn't want back with him, but surely he doesn't want to send her to prison. And well, it turns out that it looks very much like he might want that because he just wanders off without saying something,
Right.
anything.
Yep.
And I'm like, good for you, Will.
Good for you, boy.
And she's crushed by this. Meanwhile, Sam was prepping for his math exam when Nina rose and chatted with Roy, who became very confused when Sam worried that Will might find out what nearly happened yesterday. Yesterday? Says non-evil Roy.
Right?
Later, Ben finds Sam in the community garden and Sam is frantically reciting probability problems aloud and gets a fright when Ben touches his shoulder. When Sam learns that Ben hasn't been able to get in touch with Will today, Sam panics and runs off going, no, 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 no. Perhaps
No,
thinking that
not the wasps! Not the bees! Not the bees!
I think that's meant to be Nick Cage.
It was.
Perhaps-
But it sounds more like Ross from Friends.
Oh, if only. Perhaps thinking that Evil Roy's backup plan has worked. In the pub, Ben asks Kit to have a word with Sarah about Sam, which seems like a very long way to scratch one's arse with one's elbow. You getting Kit involved in this for?
Because he's a copper.
Yeah, but Ben and Nick are good pals. They lend each other booze whenever they need to, which you're probably not meant to do.
No.
So on Friday, at the bistro, Nick was expecting Sam to show up after school, but there's no sign of him. Instead, he's still at school, where Evil Roy's whispering at him that everyone wants to lock him up. He then sees the school janitor, I think it's the school janitor, apologises and runs away again. Back on the street, Sam has his headphones on, and Chesney, because he's fucking Chesney, shouts something to find out what he's listening to, which makes Sam take his headphones off. Who does that?
And also he's listening to Harry Styles, which... Where is Coronation Street found Harry Styles money from?
Was that a Harry Styles song?
Yeah. Yes.
What song was it?
I can't. It's on the Harry's House album. I can't remember the name of it. I'm blanking. It's not your favorite Harry Styles song, obviously.
No, I'd recognise that.
They definitely don't have that kind of Harry Styles money.
No, they haven't got the money to get Sandra Hüller to sing that.
No. They don't have the money to get Ryan Gosling to just wander down the street with a puppet rock.
Is it something about blinded by the light or something? As it was?
Same as it was, yeah. I think that's what it was. Wasn't blinded by the light, because that's racked up like a deuce.
And it wasn't a Geico advert.
Another Rover in the Night. Who does sing Blinded by the Light? Is that,
Let's just do one tangent at a time, shall we?
Yeah.
This was it.
Yeah. It's a good song. I like that album. I like Harry's House. It's a good album. I like it more than the newer one.
Yeah, it doesn't do an awful lot for me.
Yeah. You just like that one song. And you don't like Harry Styles singing it. You like Sandra Hüller singing it.
Yes. That's it. So, thanks, Chesney. I'm going to take my headphones off. So, Sam stares blankly at Chesney, and it's unclear if this has anything to do with the psychosis. Evil Roy is also there on the other side of the street, kind of disappearing and then reappearing again. And there's a Jaws-style vertical zoom on Sam, and then Evil Roy is at his ear, whispering more about random chess moves. Knight to King's Bishop 4, check, and then lines from Macbeth, which Sam is studying.
And
Beware the Thane of Fife, he says.
Chesney is even more confused.
Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. This he says signifying nothing a couple of days ago as well. Didn't I read that whole soliloquy out a couple of weeks ago?
You did.
This is coincidence then?
Sure.
Sam looks at the Rovers. The Castle of Macduff, he says. So he goes through the back door and finds Will
Sam,
playing
they're Irish, not Scottish. Get it right.
a zombie shooting game. If actors have a hard time acting drunk, which they do, they have a dreadful time pretending that they're playing video games.
That's true.
Will is no better as he randomly mashes buttons and looks down at the controller far more than he should need to do.
In fairness, I typically look at the controller an awful lot when I play video games.
Yes.
Because I don't do it very often.
He's cheery and friendly enough to Sam, but wonders exactly why he's there. And Sam wonders aloud that too, but then says that Leanne sent him to get hair straighteners from Eva Cakes.
Yeah, sure.
Well done, says Evil Roy. So Sam takes a seat and watches Will play his stupid game as Evil Roy continues to whisper. And the things that Will's saying to this game are really just...
I'm killing him! Killing him!
No teenager wrote
this
these
one's
lines.
dead. This one's dead. I'm killing the zombies. The zombies are already dead, sir. That's why they're zombies.
But then Will's advice to Sam on the game is, if you kill all the bad guys, it makes it easier. Well, no shit. Evil Roy continues to whisper, telling Sam that Will is the Thane of Fife and intends to kill him. And when Will asks if Sam's alright, Evil Roy screams for Sam to run, which Sam does, yelling at a confused Will to leave him alone. Sam's running again, says Will, and so Will is so worried that he chases after him. And Leanne sees Sam run into Nina's rolls and lock himself in, so Will and Leanne don't do much to calm the situation and instead bang on the door and shout to be let in. Evil Roy is inside and advises against it, but then regular Roy appears, asking if everything's alright. How can you be there and there, says Sam.
Well, you know it's the real Roy because he's wearing a penny.
He's actually Will, says Evil Roy. You need to destroy him. So Sam starts waving a chair around as regular Roy does his best to calm the situation. Roy approaches Sam, but then he screams at him to stay away. And Nina's arrived at the scene along with Nick and Toya, and Nina's able to let everyone in. And they find Sam curried in the corner and Roy on the floor after being twatted with a chair, apparently. Somehow...
With like this really, really weird zigzag pattern of jam on the side of Roy's face. That was weird, wasn't it? It was a weird...
I was watching it on a small screen, I didn't really notice.
How did the chair make a zigzag on your face, Roy?
A splinter, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know.
Are these wooden chairs or metal chairs?
They're wooden chairs.
They're wooden chairs, yeah. Somehow, Sam is able to dodge by 6 people in a confined space and go on the run, hiding in Sally's back garden and go on about sacrificing the night. And because these are 2 episodes and because there's no clear transition from one day to the next, it looks like Nick just fucks off back to work. And Nina's casually walking Freddie. Seemingly people are looking for Sam, just no one that we know. Just no one we know. At the bistro, Nick is worried to the verge of tears that if Sam can hurt Roy, he can hurt anyone, including himself. Well, maybe we should try looking for him, says David. And then no one says anything or moves for ages. So it's Carla who eventually finds Sam, but just by accident because she wasn't actively looking for him.
Right,
She was having
and
a
also-
sneaky sausage roll when she was supposed to be having a vegan week with Swain.
Right, yes. And also because she's the one who can recognize psychosis.
Yes. And Carla recognises that psychosis in Sam. How he talks about people are after him and the terrible things that he's done. Carla convinces him to take a seat while she secretly sends a text, but he's far too agitated to stay there for long and notices Carla checking behind her for someone. He tells her that he hurt Roy, and Carla assures him that Roy is fine, but this means that Carla and Roy are in cahoots. But then he hears Nick walking lightly through the precinct,
Sobbing.
and he tries to do a runner again, but David cuts him off at the pass, and Nick is able to grab him by the ears and wrestle him to the ground.
While crying loudly.
Rather than take him immediately to hospital, Nick gets Sam a hot chocolate from the ice cream place, but Sam pours it away, convinced that it's poisoned. He explains how Evil Roy wants him to kill Will. Nick insists that he's having hallucinations, and then suggests that they go home, assuring him that he won't be taken away. But Nick eventually takes Sam to hospital, which Sam sees as a betrayal, but luckily Leanne is on hand to take Sam into the hospital, while a very teary Nick and Toya follow on behind. And that is how we end this week's episodes. Now, I liked the Macbeth stuff, because they gave us the Macbeth, the shot of the Macbeth book that Sam's
Right, yes.
studying.
They linger on it. It's like a study guide. It's not
Yeah.
It's not actually Macbeth.
Well, it is. It's the full play with annotations.
Yeah, but it looks like a folder. It doesn't look even like a book.
I thought it looked like a textbook. But anyway, I liked that they kind of tied everything round about that. I was really pleased that they start talking about the Thane of Fife, and they talk about Macduff and Lady Macduff, and the fact that they were trying to put that kind of Shakespearean twist on it.
You
I thought
hate
was
Shakespeare, though.
I do. I like Macbeth. Everyone likes Macbeth. That's the one that I can actually follow.
Right, because it's Scottish.
Sure, that's why.
You can't follow Romeo and Juliet, really?
It takes me so long to parse what they're saying that by the time I've understood what they said in one line, they're 5 lines on.
Ah. But you don't have that problem with Macbeth.
Well, I've read it that many times.
I guess so.
So I thought that was really interesting that they're... Because Macbeth is about similar
Out, damn spot.
kind of psychosis, right? And about hallucinations and what have you. So I thought this was
And
a...
guilt.
Yeah. So I thought this was a really clever way of portraying this. And having the Rovers as the Castle Macduff was hilarious. And yeah, and the whole tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow stuff, I think as a crescendo to hopefully Sam getting better. I thought this was a great way of doing that. And with the little chess bits thrown in as well. I thought they did a great job with this, I've got to say.
I hope he doesn't get better next week.
No, I hope not as well.
Because as you already pointed out, it's weird and it's kind of tough that they have to tackle the boy to get him to stop running away. But then he's sitting quietly, staring suspiciously into a hot chocolate instead of being at the hospital.
He should have been at the hospital immediately.
Like right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a performance from Jude Reardon. I thought he was... Honest, I've had enough of him running about. But I really got his panic and his fear and his distress. Especially in the back of the car when they go at the hospital and they have to encourage him, almost coax him out with pastries and sweet treats. His reaction to being at the hospital, I thought, was magnificent. That was a really, really good performance. And like I said, just the way that bits from things that would be in Sam's mind manifesting themselves in what he was seeing, I thought was really, really convincing. And I get what you mean about Evil Roy being amped up towards the end there. He had a bit of reverb on his voice. He was...
And the whole, I've put something in his water bottle.
Yeah, it was more kind of pantomime.
Yeah.
I guess. Maybe it wasn't as good as it was earlier on in the story, but I thought they really pulled this out. I would have liked to have seen the Macbeth thing be a bit of a motif earlier on in the storyline. And and maybe that would have paid off a little bit better here, but I don't know how much appetite there is at 30 on ITV for something that's kind of basing itself off Macbeth. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that the masses would go for it.
Yeah.
Or would follow it.
And I guess that's kind of my problem with it. Is that, yes, I can see how it kind of works. But considering he's probably been studying Macbeth for weeks now, and we just now see it in his locker as the camera lingers on it far too long.
Yeah, I thought that was a great opportunity to do this throughout, that this was the theme.
Right.
Because then we, as the audience, and I guess most of us, whether we liked it or not, kind of know what happens in Macbeth. Knowing how that ends and, how it builds up dramatically to death and murder and stuff, would kind of be putting two and two together ourselves and imagining how this is going to go. And when people start imagining things, you're almost like doing the writer's job for them. And it would have been I think it would have been good to see how that played out. But for this week, I've got to say I was pretty impressed with it. And maybe they will address how this all started, and I'll be interested to see if they choose to remember to bring it back to the
Adderall
ADHD abuse from a while ago. But it's weird the number of things that had to happen and the number of people that you had to speak to and the number of people who chose to be slightly concerned about it but not concerned enough to suggest that anything gets done about it.
Right.
Like Ben, for example.
Yeah. And Chesney going, just ask what you were listening to.
And he's walking in the middle of the street and nobody's
saying, he's talking to himself in the middle of the street. And nobody's like,
should we phone somebody about this?
Right.
We should probably phone somebody about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little disappointing, perhaps. Nina wasn't wearing her white makeup in today's episode. She had a little bit of black eyeliner on, and that was pretty much it.
They've been
we predicted it.
ungothing her for a while now.
We've been predicting it for 5 years, but probably longer than that, actually.
And I mean, let's be honest, she's barely in the show. How frustrating and annoying was it when, like, Leanne and Toya are shouting at poor Nina to hurry up and unlock the door?
Yes.
It's like, you're not making this any easier for me, ma'am.
Yep.
Shut up.
I'm the one with the key. Back off.
Pipe down, lady.
Oh, you were going to say bitch.
I was not. I was always going to say lady.
Your mouth made a b. Looked like it was going towards a b. And I wouldn't have stopped you. It was the most unbelievable part of it was how, after getting Sam cornered in Nina's rolls, he was able to escape. Not one person could stop him.
Yeah, because they were all rushing the wrong way, and they were all rushing to Roy, who was on the floor. So everybody was focused on Roy.
Well, no, Nina was. I don't know that everyone was. There were 6 people in that calf that could have stopped them. Or even just by closing the door behind them would have
Right, yeah.
given them enough time.
Yeah, but then, the show wouldn't have been as long as it was.
We won't see Sam running anymore, and that's probably a good thing. And we won't hear Sam saying no, 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 over and over again. That's probably a good thing. But yeah, I thought he was great. Especially in tonight's episode. And yeah, it just really worked for me. Alright, that was the week that was Coronation Street then. Helen, tell me, what was your moment of the week?
What was your moment of the week?
Probably Sam at the hospital in the car. I thought it was really heartbreaking.
Yeah, let's go with that then.
That's our
Moment of the week.
Your boring moment of the week?
Chesney loudly complaining about Tyrone to Fizz.
Oh, I didn't even mention that.
No. It was so ridiculous. It's like, why are you shouting at your sister about her husband in Nina's roles? Just constantly nagging her about why did Tyrone change his story. It's like, it's none of your fucking business.
Seriously.
She doesn't want to talk to you about it. She doesn't want to tell you. Stop talking about it. Seriously, Chesney.
Fizz was being oddly diplomatic about the whole thing.
She was.
Did a good job. Look, he had a drink and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. But Chesney would not let it go.
He
Chesney,
wouldn't
let it
lie.
go.
He wouldn't let it lie.
Let it go.
He wouldn't let it lie. That's our
Boring moment of the week.
Fucking Chesney, man.
fucking Chesney. Now, we don't ask Twitter anymore because who cares? So, Helen.
Did you see Musk is now the world's first trillionaire? And yet there's still starving children all over this planet?
Yeah, capitalism is great.
Go
Kids.
fuck yourself, Elon Musk.
What score would you give the show this week?
I don't know. I feel like we got some good movement, like in the Sam story.
Very much so.
But there
I would
were
agree.
a lot of bits of the Sam story that made me roll my eyes. I'm just so tired of this whole who killed Theo thing.
I can tell.
I'm so tired of it. I'm glad summer's out. But, I don't know, like 5.5?
Oh, just that.
Yes. Shut up.
I gave it 8 last week.
It was not an 8 this
I
week.
don't think I enjoyed it quite as much this week, but I did enjoy it. I thought it was better than average. I would give it a 7 this week. All right, let's wrap this one up then. This episode was brought to you with thanks to our friends of the podcast. Daisy, French Helen, Pickles, DT, Wendy, Noel, Canadian Helen, Christy, Shandy, English Victoria, Aurora Yvonne, Heather Westerfield, Russell Whiting, Brittany Porter, Laurie Anna, Tina, Leah, Tara J, Fiona B, Canadian Jennifer, Josephino Tingy, Anne Greenwood, Trish R, Sarah Purbrick, Ali Q, Hunker Munker, Darren, the artist formerly known as Seal My Fridge, Pamela, Marge JT, Tom Ambrose, Christopher Anstey, Terry in LA, Joe T, Corey Dales, Matthew McInerney, Welsh Emma, Matthew S, Rachel B, Uranium Jennifer, Catherine Monchero, Gary Heatley, Pam but not that one, Una, Amy, Jenny Roll, Ozzy Ali,
Oi, oi, oi.
Chris Horrocks, Cameron from Edmonton, Mark Birch, Library Jen, Jack the Marner, David MacArthur, Saskatchewan and Karina, Rebecca, Uper Danes and Jem. Thank you ever so much, folks. We very much appreciate it. If you've ever quoted Macbeth in public, write in to tell us about it. We're the talkofthestreet@gmail.com, and we're at Corrie Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads and Blue Sky, or reach us the old-fashioned way, the Talk of the Street, PO Box 12, Ian Rapids, Michigan 48827. Our spoiler show will be available shortly after this one, and in this month's classics, we're talking about episode 475.
Corrie down the mines.
Get access to this exclusive content by becoming a friend of the podcast. Find all the links at corriepodcast.com. And be sure to check out our pop culture sister podcast, The List of Lists.
I have the power!
Thanks for making it to the end of another episode, and we will be back next week with more
I'll talk of the street.
Talk of the Street.
Bye.
Cheerio.